Hi and welcome. In this section we'll describe how to craft a selfie app. We'll learn how to create the Mockup UI for app look and feel, use the camera plugin for capturing images, implement a gallery to display thumbnails, use Flutter Redux for managing state changes, and build and release for publishing Android apps. In this video, we're going to create a Mockup UI for the application look and feel. In the previous section, we created an application for capturing QR codes. Now we're in the shop and we have our drink, and we want to capture an image with our drink and share it to our social media accounts. To do that, we're going to have to create a selfie app. In this video, we're going to create the Mockup UI, which will include a home page which will provide the camera preview, gallery, as well as an image capture button, a full-size image screen which will have icons for delete, share, and returning back to the home page screen, and we'll implement a navigator for switching between the home and full-size image screens. And in the end, our Mockup UI will look and work like this. And the first step will be to create a new project. The project's now being created. I'm just going to tidy up this code. And I'll rename the title to Coffee Selfie App. And remove the home property and replace it with the roots, which will direct us to a home widget. And I will need to create a home widget, and I'll create that in its own folder called widgets. I want to add some images for our mockup gallery, so I will create a folder to house those images. And use my file manager to copy some images into that folder. And include those images in our pubspec file. We'll create a list of strings just to house those images. Inside the build widget, we're going to replace the container with the stack. The reason we're using a stack is because we also want to overlay the thumbnail gallery as well as having a image app capture icon in the center. And we'll add the camera widget to our stack first. And the camera widget include the preview and the camera capture button. And to facilitate both of those, we'll replace the container with another stack widget. And I'll just use a container to represent the camera preview and give it the color of gray. And add a floating action button. And also add the on-press property. And we'll also want to center the floating action button. And go back to the home widget. And we will need to import the widget for the camera here. And now I'm just going to start up the Android emulator just so we can view the camera widget. And that's the camera widget completed. We do want to add the gallery to show up at the bottom of that, but first I'll need to create a thumbnail widget just to display the thumbs. And it will need to have a property just to represent the image path, just to load the image. And replace the container with the image. Now I'll create a gallery widget just to house those thumbnails. And this gallery is going to consist of a list of strings which will represent the paths of the thumbnail images. And replace the container with a list view builder. Inside here, we're going to return each of the thumbnails. An image path will be provided by our paths property using the indexed. And inside the list view builder, we'll set the shrink wrap property to true and set the scroll direction to horizontal. And we'll get the item count from the paths property. Now we can add the gallery to the home widget and provide the paths with the paths that we set up inside this widget. And do a hot reload. I will need to wrap the gallery widget inside a container just so I can set its height. And I want to move the gallery to the bottom of the display. To do that, I'll use the align widget. I want to add a little bit of separation between those thumbnails, and to do that I can just add some padding inside item builder in the gallery widget. I also want to add a widget for the full size image. This is also going to have a property for the image path. And we can replace the container with a scaffold. The reason we're using a scaffold is so we can utilize an app bar just to have our icons at the top. And I'll add a leading icon just with the back button. This will just take us back to the home widget. And for here, we can just use the navigator to return to the previous screen. I'll now add the actions list and add an icon for delete. In this case, if we delete an image, we just want to go back to the home page. So I can use the navigator pop and push named to do that. And I'll also add an icon for the social media share. And underneath the app bar, I'll add the image itself. And this image will need to be called from our thumbnail. And to help support that, I'm going to wrap the image inside an inkwell widget. And the inkwell does need a material widget, so I can just wrap that inside the material. And inside the inkwell, we will implement the onTap property. And when we tap a thumbnail, we're actually going to create a page route for our full size image and use the navigator to push that. And it's here we can return our share image widget. Now let's do a hot reload and select one of the thumbnails. And as you can see, we've got our full screen image being displayed. And if I click the back button, we go back to the home page, which basically consists of the camera preview, our thumbnail gallery down below, and an image capture button. And we'll also run this on the iOS simulator. And as you can see, we have the same behavior on the iOS simulator. We learned how to use the navigator to push and pop screens, how to create a thumbnail gallery using the list view builder, and how to implement the floating action button.